All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And, for those joining from the West Coast, good morning. Welcome. My name is Paul Lefebvre, and I'm a business development executive here with MBSI WAV, and very excited today to introduce one of our premier partners, Baicells, to our webinar today. Joining us from Baicells is Tom Ulrich, who is a senior sales engineer. And Tom will be giving us a dive into the Baicells solution offering for the Canadian LTE market, some of the new product releases that they have, and ultimately reinforce the Baicells vision of connecting more with less. Before we begin, just a little bit of housekeeping. This webinar, as always, will be recorded and uploaded to our social media outlets not long after we are done. So feel free to have a look at the MBSI WAV YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook pages to get access to it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in the chat window as we move along. We will be addressing questions at the end of the webinar, but if we run out of time, we will personally reach out and address anything that may be outstanding. And because we like to mix it up sometimes, we ourselves will be asking a question to the audience at the end of the session on a topic that was covered. The first person to answer correctly will win a $100 Amazon gift card, but to be eligible for the giveaway, you must be a resident of Canada. So at this time, I'd love to turn the floor over to Tom to take us through his presentation. Tom, over to you.
Thanks for kicking it off, and definitely excited to be here. As we started talking about topics for what we wanted to cover, and we felt that was most important, we really wanted to dig our heels in with our CPE and EUD product portfolio. This product portfolio for us, we do have other products and have a great end-to-end solution, which I'll quickly highlight. But in the CPE and the EUD categories, we have a great, robust product set that can work even outside of the Baicells radio infrastructure. And we've seen a lot of customers that are really moving towards that way and really like using our end-to-end products, but also we have found some customers that would be using another OEM that are also still excited about using our CPE devices. And I'll go over in a little bit more detail why the CPE product portfolio is important for the ecosystem within the 3GPP standards, and as we move into more private LTE systems. One of the things I do know about Canada is that they've really done a great job adopting private LTE, especially in the wireless internet service provider space, maybe even to the tune greater than the US. So feel that it's a great market that we'd like to continue to support, and we've got a outstanding product portfolio that covers that end to end, as well as again really digging our heels in where we think we can have good success with any customer that's using LTE. I always like to start my webinars off with a quick quote. And for some reason, the slide's not moving along. There we go. Great quote, I love. Here's the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things different. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, you can disagree with them, you can glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see ourselves as geniuses, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Steve Jobs actually tagged this quote in one of Apple's big campaigns in 1997, just before they came out with I think it was the iPod. So I think it was 10 years prior to when the iPhone first launched. And Rob was a marketing genius that was behind Apple. And I think that this one really holds true to me in seeing who a lot of our customers are. The Baicells, we make things very simple. We also make them very affordable. And because we are standards-based, that gives us a real edge as we work with customers and a really strong market spot in the private LTE networks. So this is probably one of the most important slides. I want to be accessible to our customers. I want people to have my contact information. I will repeat this at the end, but I once had a product presentation where the person had one slide and it was his contact information. So by all means, reach out to me. We want to hear from our customers. We also want feedback, things that you're looking for in the product. Things you like, things you don't like. Certainly, we want to help continue to serve our customers as we move forward in the future. This slide is really kind of focused on, I like to focus on the three things that are at the top. As we move into our 5G product portfolio, we're going to be looking at 1.6 gigabits per second, 1.5 gigabits per second on the download throughput speeds. So, really, taking, our current capabilities with the LTE equipment in our 440 megabits per second LTE radio that's going to be coming out in the next 6 to 9 months. That'll support 440 megabits per second. And our CPE portfolio will actually even exceed those capabilities today. So our Cat 15 CPE is right around 580 megabits per second download throughput speeds. And then from a user count, we are going to have a radio that supports up to 256 radios. Currently, that's 96 users today, but we are looking at additional product firmware releases that will support up to 256. And that was a recent change that we had within the last 3 months. We were currently limited to 96 users, but previously, with the last firmware release, it was 64 users. And then obviously from the product and CPE side, we'll take as much as what's thrown at it. A little bit more about Baicells. We are a global company. From a global perspective, North America is our biggest market. So done a great job establishing customers in this space, and it's really allowed us to grow our TDD product portfolio extensively. And key customers for us, Salona. We have key investments that come from Qualcomm. And then we also are a big proponent of Open RAN, the TIPS program, and even have a wonderful relationship with what's going on within the Facebook Open RAN Magma Core standards as well. So those are key things to pull out. We are part of WISPA and ONGO and ORAN Alliance, so we do try to be part of those governing bodies. We have deployed over 200,000 EUDs worldwide. And, I think, the kickoff was very appropriate, and, we really try to connect more for less while doing it. A little bit, more in the vision, things, from where the space is really evolved. And I've got some more slides that will, go into more detail and where the development and push has been coming from our customers, and really just kind of helps reinforce the three things I talked about earlier, with easy to install and use, affordable and standards based. Because we are that global company, we serve 60 plus countries, have over 500 patents, 600 employees worldwide. 70% of that is focused in R&D specifically. So a lot of back-end R&D going to support our current products, come out with new firmwares and releases to improve things. Also, to really help develop that product roadmap in that 3 to 5 extended window that gets us into the 5G space. And that is something I'll not go into great detail, but if there are folks on the phone that want us to go through a thorough product roadmap, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to set up some time to give that greater details of what's happening in the 5G space. We are starting some of our first initial 5G and R field trials here in the US within band 48, which in the Canadian market is kind of a combination of band 42 and 43. So TDD between band 42 and 43 is really where our products have the most emphasis and focus. We do have some products that are also in band 41 that will cover the 2.5 to 2.7 spectrum. So if there are carrier operators or folks that have access to that spectrum, we also have some really high power radios that help focus on that space, including the CPEs that go along with it. And how and where does the spectrum, how does it all fit together? Some of the new terms I think that are coming up in the 5G standards is the band N77 and N78. I think it's good to see reference of these frequencies where it really captures a broad swath of spectrum. And if you look down a little bit farther, the N48 spectrum is a little bit closer, tighter 150 megahertz band. So those are all things to recognize that just because you're saying N48 or N78, that they do capture the same spectrum. So it's not always going to be specifically band specific as we're moving forward into more of a 5G era. So knowing that N77, 78, and 48 have some overlap there, it's always important to just be cognizant of that's how the spectrum is evolving. And I do realize this is a US-based slide, but what I will say is that this CBRS spectrum that's been in the US has been a real workhorse in helping us really bring to market a lot of new and exciting products that we can take advantage of in band 42 and band 43 with our future roadmap products. And the other important piece is that the hard work within CBRS, where a lot of our R&D and cycles we're going into over the last 2 years, we're really over that hump of understanding how that shared spectrum model works, and really working with the people that are controlling the spectrum with the SAS OEMs, and working the bugs out on that side of it as well. So we feel that because we're past a lot of that we're going to see us really start to hit the accelerator with some of our newer products and as we come to market. And I think I'll showcase a couple of those later on in the presentation. And the other thing within the CBRS conversations is that we've divided our products into kind of 3 category types. So a typical UE device, a EUD device, you can go up to 23 dBm output power with those units. That does not include the antenna gain. So you would want to be under the IRP of those units. And then as you move into category A and category B, you always have to remember that you're going to want to take what the transmit power is of the CPE or the radio, and then add in the additional antenna gain, and that'll give you the max EIRP of either the CPE or the EUD itself. And then here, I really like to get back to the basics. From a Baicells product portfolio standpoint, we do have that end-to-end solution. So you can bring us in very early on the discovery conversations. We are happy to be part of how do I organize this network, and we do have that end-to-end product portfolio. But if you find that you like a particular OEM, a EPC, or a RAN manufacturer, we're still fine and have other components and products, especially within the CPE product portfolio, that will really complement those choices that you're making, and do it in a very simple easy to use product portfolio, where, it's a lot of times plug and play, allows you to, grow your network as you, kind of evolve and your network matures. And also comes in at great price points and, are part of those 3GPP standards. So, that it can work as you move from OEM to OEM. I talk about, the basics of LTE and kind of 3 food groups is usually how I reference it in a core network, a RAN network, and your CPE devices. So, if you're just new to LTE and how does it work, know that you're going to need a core, a RAN, and a CPE device to get up and running. And then Baicells has even taken it farther from the core infrastructure standpoint, and we've got again that pay-as-you-grow model where you can start using our cloud core, which is a web-based management and core system. You also can manage your SIM cards and throttle your users in certain rate plans. But from where that goes, we've moved some of the capabilities onto the radio itself. So some of those MME capabilities, as well as some of the user information. So if there ever is a break on the S1 link, you can still have your radios up and operational. And then as you grow to a larger network, you can also move to a standalone. So local EPC, local management, which OMC, which is our network management tool, and our BOSS system, which is our SIM management tool. On a local basis, you can really bring in and have a network that you can come in day one with a single CPE or single radio and move into a very complex network, managing thousands of subscribers. And real quickly, I think this is the last of the RAN side and the radio side. We have a flagship product in our 436Q. I recognize that it only has 1 watt output power per port on the radio, but we are coming out with our new 846 radio, which I think will be more geared towards the Canadian market, and we're going to have a radio that's capable of doing 4x4 MIMO with a 5 watt output per port, which will really let you go up and have a higher transmit power on the tower. And for us, again, that was part of those R&D cycles. We're focused on the U.S. market with the 436Q, because the max EIRP of CBRS in the U.S. is 47 dBm. So there's 1 watt, which is 30 dBm output power that's coming out of the radio, plus a 17 dBi gain antenna, which gets you to that max EIRP. I recognize that that's not an issue within the Canadian market, but that's why our product was specifically geared towards that 1 watt output per port. We have seen a large market really gravitating where maybe you're running a 5 gig network and using and capturing additional users in a non-line of sight application off existing towers with either our 436Q or our Nova 227, which is an outstanding price point. So we're currently running 2 promos on the 436Q. We've got a starter package, which is just under $4,000. That comes with the SIM cards, 3 SIM cards, 3 CPEs, and the radio for just under $4,000. That will allow you to connect to our cloud core, which is $1 per month per subscriber, and really lets you come into the market at a very reasonable price point for those folks that are new to private LTE. And our 227 is even a lower price point. The promo that we're running on that is $599 for the eNode B. So, again, very attractive price points coming into the private LTE systems networks, and really allows you to, even take those existing 5 gig networks and capture new users, or, maybe you've matured to a point where, you're ready to really, move forward, full force into a standards-based system with LTE. And I always think this is an appropriate slide because people want to know, hey, I'm getting ready to order my equipment, what are the things that come in the equipment box, and what are the things that I need to add on, and that's where MBSI WAV comes in and provides such value to the supply chain, and to really adding value and being able to add the additional LTE antennas that are needed, any additional mounts and cable assemblies and surge protection that would be outside of what's going to come inside of the Baicells boxes. I will say, from a simplistic form, that Nova 227, and has an integrated antenna in it, and it is by far and away our simplest and easy to deploy solution that we have in the market. But I just wanted to highlight a couple of those things that you want to add as you're determining and putting together your solutions. And from a product standpoint, this is the product that we're most excited about in the Canadian market from the radio side. So again, a 5-watt per port output power, and it will allow us to also hit 256 QAM in a 4x4 MIMO configuration. So we're very excited about what that product, at the price point it's going to come in at, will mean to the market. And we saw the picture of the 436Q on the previous slide with on the tower with the antenna. But again, with carrier aggregation with this model, we'll be able to hit 220 megabits per second in a dual carrier mode using TDD within band 42, 43, and 48. So great product for the market at a great price point. And then, as I talked about the other radios, this is also a new product that we're coming out with, and this one is, again, lower power, but will come with some of those carrier aggregation and dual carrier capabilities that the 227 does not. And I touched real quickly on the 227, but again, it's a tremendous product, especially for those non-line of sight applications with existing 5 gig networks. And as we get into the meat of the presentation, the CPEs, the key things here that I want to point out are from what do category 4, category 6, and category 15 mean. The key thing to pull out is that category 4 is only capable of supporting a single channel of frequencies. So for us, typically we'll see a customer deploy a 20 meg channel, and then as you move into the category 6 and category 15 devices, that's going to allow you to aggregate those channels together in a 40 megahertz type of pipe. So again, you can double your download throughputs by taking advantage of carrier aggregation, as well as adding additional user capacity that is important as we move from day 1 into day 101. The other things that are important, when I think of the category 4 device, that's it's about a Samsung Galaxy 4 or 5. I think it's an iPhone 10. So really older model type of technology. So we are starting to encourage our customers to really take a hard look if they're current users, upgrading some of those category 4 devices to the category 6 and 15 devices. And then as we look at the roadmap and complete product portfolio, this is where Baicells offers so much value. We have low gain, we have high gain outdoor units, we have a Cat 15 unit that just recently became available. We have new products that are coming out with next generation technology. We also have indoor units that are very valuable in the market space, where you've got really good RF. And then from there, we've even kind of established a product portfolio from a management standpoint, where you can start to manage the Wi-Fi signal that you're also offering customers inside the homes. And from the CPE side, the category 15 Atom OD15 CPE is by far and away, our most exciting product. So, this product is going to allow for multiple carrier aggregation. It allow for to support 256 QAM, and it's a really nice form factor too. So this one has 18 dBi gain in the CPE. And then if you were to pair that with the 23 dBm output power, if you add those two together, 23 dBm plus 18 dBi in the antenna, you really have a great radio product that is going to be able to really attach at a distance farther away from the tower. So things that we're very excited about with the Cat 15 device, and we certainly from a form factor standpoint, it's a little bit larger. So you kind of think of this as your large, extra large. I know it's lunchtime. A lot of folks here are getting hungry. Type of pizza box. So it's definitely a larger form factor, which is great. It's got a larger capture area, and it also have a narrow beam antenna on it. So it really allows you to kind of pinpoint and connect back to the radio tower at longer distances. And just another great picture of where our category 15 CPE fits in the marketplace. Again, 580 in the download throughput speeds, a 4x4 MIMO, and a product that we're very excited about. And then from our indoor product portfolio, we do just have the one device currently on the CPE side. We have seen a large increase in sales on this product, and this is something that I like to talk about in a little bit greater detail. In that this is something you can ship in a box to your customers, have them set it on the window of their home, and start to see can they connect, what is their signal strength, and start to even do an assessment. Is this a customer I should be swapping out with a low gain or a high gain CPE? Should I schedule a time with that customer to go back and do a more professional install with the outdoor units? But just having the simple, easy to use CPE is a very nice tool in the tool belt within our CPE product portfolio. And this unit, it does have a lot of a bang for the buck. Again, a 23 dBm output on the CPE, and I'll get to the specs. It's always easier to look at. And it also has a 6.5 dBi gain antenna built in. It's an omnidirectional antenna, so it will cover a large area. But all of our CPEs will generally transmit at the 23 dBm output power, and then obviously if you wanted to calculate the ERP, you would just add in the additional gain. So this one would be 23 plus 6.5, giving us 29.5 dBm ERP. So real nice product solutions that they provide a lot more power than just what your existing, if you think of LTE devices in your phones, are capable of supporting. And then this is actually one of our older products, but we had a large portion of our customers that really liked this product because it has a little bit higher gain than even our Cat 15 device, and 19.5 dBi gain. But again, this is a device that you won't be able to take advantage of carrier aggregation. So it becomes a little bit of a conversation on which one is best for my specific use case. Did I try either the low gain or the Cat 15 device and it didn't quite have enough gain? Those are all things that I think are important as you're going through our product portfolio, and you've got choices that allow you to make different decisions based on your customers, where they're located, and what the achieved or target RSRP is. And again, all of our product portfolio come at those three things that I talked about earlier: standards-based, very affordable, and really easy to take out of the box and utilize. And again, this is where our initial products, make sure you're paying attention to, if you do have our existing products, is it a category 4, is it a category 6, and just be cognizant that at some point in time it might make sense to have a look at should I be replacing these, or moving forward even should I be looking at upgrading to category 6 or category 15 devices. And these devices, both the Cat 4 and Cat 6, will have a 14 dBi integrated antenna. And by taking advantage of the carrier aggregation, it allows you to hit a theoretical download speed limits of 220 megabits per second. So a great product. And then our outdoor OD6 CPE, and again, 23 dBm on the output power. This one only has a 14 dBi of gain. So it does allow you to take advantage of that carrier aggregation. And that's the same as our outdoor low gain CPE. So those are the key three things. Our indoor unit, our outdoor low gain, our outdoor high gain, and then as we've branched now into the fourth dimension, we have our Cat 15 device, which is really our best in class product on the CPE portfolio. And then as we've been working with customers, we have got a lot of feedback from customers that they want a device that will allow for Wi-Fi coverage inside the home. So we've recently expanded our product portfolio family to include these three new products: the Snap router, the Pocket router, and the Wi-Fi mesh device, which we feel that is something that allows some of that monitoring and control standpoint, to take out the user bringing in their own equipment that might not be working, or you might not have visibility on, is it working correctly, or did they set it up correctly? There's a lot of folks that once you get outside of what's in your management system, of what you're capable of controlling. The Wi-Fi PoE has been something that recently I've seen more interest in. So this device will actually have a PoE output power, which allows you to power up your outdoor CPEs. So you get rid of that little tiny ugly brick that would kind of sit on the floor that would power up your CPE. And then again, it brings in all of those network management capabilities through a TR069 network management. So it does allow for to kind of take more control of your customers and give them a better experience. And specifically if you have older population that you're serving, this is a great product to support 802.11 AC within the customer's homes. And then our outdoor Wi-Fi 6 mesh device is also something that, from our perspective, we've seen the raw material shortages. So, if you do have Wi-Fi 6 devices that you're currently using with a different OEM, this is something that we have been able to allocate inventory and raw materials to in production. So, if you are seeing supply chain constraints, I know that's a big thing that's been in the news lately, and it is something that's very real. We do have product allocation of these devices as well. And Wi-Fi 6 with 802.11ax, it also just really allows you to talk to your customer in the latest and greatest technology terms. And then this is the last product that I actually will highlight today, and it is our Pocket router. So on the indoor side of things, and having something that is very easy to deploy, and for us, we're very excited about this product. We feel that this is something that our customers have been asking for, and we'll support category 12. It is an EUD, so it's a little bit lower on the output power and gain. And it's a nice form factor, simple, easy to use, and could even be deployed in existing customers. You could do an add-on package where maybe they already have their fixed wireless at the house, but they have a place of business that's a quarter mile down the road that that they're also going to have great signal strength. So there's a lot of use cases. Educational markets is another great place for this, because of the price points that we can come in at with this, and attached to the private LTE networks. We feel like this is going to be a great product in the market as well. So some use cases, and it really goes to how the Baicells network is we're organized. So we kind of look at 4 target verticals for us. The WIS market, which I think has really been expanded, and what's going on within the digital divide is very important to look at, and what's going on in the world. I think in my life in RF, looking back in my career, 9/11 was a big event, and it helped really spawn and bring about first responder networks, and how those critical communication networks are managed. And I feel like we've gone through now a similar event in my life with COVID, and the work from home, the educational e-learning space are only going to continue to grow. And I think the nerve was kind of exposed with so many people don't have connected coverage. So this market, it's very important and meaningful to me in that we're helping change people's lives. And for the other vertical markets, I think smart cities kind of goes along with that same accord with how it's been propelled with what's happened out of COVID. We've got a great customer use case that we're just about to release with the city of Las Vegas. So keep an eye out on the press release for us covering that case study. And then we've also seen with the industrial revolution and automation and digital transformation, and what that means within the IIoT space. That's another market. Even inside the buildings, we've got some great products for now in the indoor space that we can provide a private LTE coverage that is continue to expand. How do we have it so remote control and automation is more and more a part of our lives. Even within the news, where the hackers have gone in and taken over networks, again by segmenting some of these critical communication systems and industrial automation and IoT within a network. There's a lot of possibilities in that private space where you can really customize the applications and be safe and secure in that vertical segment as well. And then a couple more slides, and we'll be wrapping up. But I wanted to give a sample bill of materials. What does the end-to-end network look like? So the CPEs is the easiest part. Choosing, do you want a Cat 15, Cat 6, or Cat 4 device, and pairing it with the proper SIM cards, which we can also provide on a 100-pack basis, and even smaller cut downs for what you need. And then the other things that are always going to be required are buying the radio itself, attaching that to our cloud core. There's a great link here at the bottom. If there's one link on the Baicells website and you're new to LTE, there's a getting started link under the support on the website. That is a really great link that takes you through the quick, easy steps to launching your first LTE network. But getting your extended warranty, the proper licenses on the radios, and then the things that Baicells doesn't provide, and is something that MBSI and WAV can help out with, is the antennas, the jumper cables, the lightning surge arresters, the wire cable grounding, tower mounts, those are the things that are always needed to add into making it a complete solution, so you can install on day one. And then from a planning perspective, Baicells does have the capabilities that we can help you, look at it in your architecture and put the right parts and pieces together. Doing a proper system design, for me is always that plan of record. So, let's not be the hang and hope that everything works, and do a little, diligence on the front end. So then, as you grow your network to 50, 100, 200, 5,000 users, you've got everything planned out. So it's very easy to facilitate those changes to the network as you grow. And then, just back to the basics of the LTE network. The core piece of this is going to be your OMC and BOS and EPC, which are there on the left. Your radio access network is our indoor product is there on the bottom. And our outdoor radio is the picture that I showed earlier. That's your RAN portion of it. And then the third part of the food group is that CPE product portfolio, which not all products fit every single use case, and it really takes a good look at how you want to serve your customers using different devices to really maximize the investments that you make and allow you to get that price point down to your end users as much as possible. And again, just to follow up, we really appreciate everybody's time today. And here again is my contact information. So feel free to reach out to me, and happy to help and assist. And with that, I will kick it back over so we can go ahead with the trivia questions.
That's great. Thank you, Tom. That's a great job. It was a great overview and knowledge transfer, great information today, on your solution set, I guess, both for, outdoor and indoor applications. Category 15 CPE, really certainly seems to be a bit of a game changer. As we, not sure if anyone has any questions, but while we're waiting, if anyone has any thoughts they want to jot down for Tom to answer, we'll go ahead and throw out the skill testing question. And coincidentally enough, on the topic of the Cat 15 CPE. So Tom was on a slide and he was referencing it, and we're looking for what is the max power EIRP of the new Cat 15 CPE. So the max power EIRP on that unit. First one to answer as a resident of Canada will certainly will win. Oh, Craig, you're so close, but not almost there. But while we're waiting, don't really have any questions, Tom, but I have one. Would you be able to maybe provide some insight, nothing too detailed, but you had mentioned that Baicells is coming out with a case study as it relates to COVID, and I think certainly that's something we'd all like to see. On sort of the topic of interoperability and working in conjunction with other OEMs on a network, can you maybe provide at a high level an example that you guys have seen in the last 6 to 12 months, whether it being in the US or Canada, where you've seen sort of a mix and match of equipment being used to service, the ultimate goal of the customer or service provider, and maybe what's Baicells' role in that, and which products of yours have kind of got slotted in, and maybe just kind of touch on something like that for a quick minute in case we get some questions that come down the pipe.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think of a couple things when we talk about the serving the 3GPP standards, and how does that interoperability work. The one thing I will call out specifically, even as the greater picture, is if anybody takes one thing out of this event and on looking deeper into what's going on in the marketplace, look at what is going on in the Open RAN standards base. So that's something that I think is going to continue to facilitate this disaggregation of the little parts and pieces and mixing and matching things together in the best way that serves the end customer. So the Open RAN is something to be very excited about. So definitely take that, if you don't know anything about it or would like to learn more, there's so much to talk about there. From a specific case study, the one that to me that comes to mind is, I think the city of Las Vegas is a great one. That was more of an end-to-end encompassing. They did have some UE devices from a remote control and automation that they were looking to tie in from a third-party OEM that I think were intrinsic benefits and within the band 48 spectrum, there are now a host of devices that are capable of supporting those frequencies. So, I think it's an iPhone 11 and up, and then the Galaxy 10 and above will all support band 48. And then, from a industrial modem standpoint, Cradlepoint and Sierra both have some great devices that have already been seeded in the market that will also support those frequencies. And I think Inseego and Digi and there's a host of multi-tech vendors that will also support that same ecosystem. So, capturing some of those devices that have been seeded in the market, there's tremendous opportunity in standing up your own private LTE network. The Murray City School District is the one that I think is really good to highlight. Cradlepoint did a extensive case study on that, so that's definitely one to check out. And they were able to do wide scale deployment within a school district in that use case, and that's what I think we're going to continue to see in the market as a driver. These educational bodies are really taking how do I stand up my own network and allow kids to have connectivity at the house. Right now, the COVID vaccine is only for people 12 and up. So, we still have a large segment of the school populations that could even be in a remote environment, next year and beyond. So, I think that, we're trying to really capture, how did they do that? And the LTE, standard in a wide area network, not only do you have the benefits of being able to tie into, their existing IT infrastructure with utilizing a local breakout, but you can also get great coverage from these networks through non-line of sight applications with the device ecosystem that comes along with LTE. So those are really key highlights and benefits. The other thing that I will say from a use case standpoint is that we have had a tremendous amount of testing in the interoperability standpoints with our Cat 15 devices. So, they're looking at, those 4x4 and 256 QAM, multiple carrier aggregation channel networks and utilizing our Cat 15 CPE, which comes in at a really wonderful price point and allows you to really stretch the legs in those places, in those hard to reach areas that you might not have coverage currently with.
Great. No, that's awesome. No, I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about ecosystem growth and being able to run through a number of applications using a number of different technologies. It's very encouraging to hear that Baicells is taking that open standards approach as a forefront. And you kind of touch on it, right? When you say, some of the applications that you're seeing today, having those kind of conversations maybe 12, 16, 24 months ago, they didn't exist. And it really sort of opens up some new avenues for partners and customers and operators out there. And I think that's ultimately the message that we're trying to convey, right? Is we're encouraging, all of our customers, all of our partners, that if you have, projects like these in mind, deployments that you're considering, don't hesitate to reach out to MBSI WAV, your account managers. We can loop you in with some of the Baicells folks, and have those discussions that you don't necessarily are comfortable or used to having, and the doors and possibilities will open for you. So keep in mind, we can help with planning, network design, pre and post sales support, on every piece of a wireless network, and we're here to help. And getting back around to the skill testing question, we have a close answer, but we don't have the exact one. But Craig, we appreciate your persistence in trying to get it right. So we'll be in touch after this session, Craig, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. I don't see much more activity here on the chat window. We've had a few requests for people to have access to this afterwards, so we'll certainly make that happen. And as always, MBSI WAVE will be hosting future webinars. We'll be sure to keep everyone posted on the information, as it's released. Dates and times are regularly added to our website, and we encourage everyone to sign up for our mailing list if you haven't done so already. We thank you all for attending. Tom, thank you for your time today, and we appreciate having everyone on here. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.